So in addition to the information that I've already provided in the first video, I wanted to also review the assignment instructions that's provided in this document linked here. You can click on it here and it'll show up in the screen in Canvas, or you can upload it or download it to your computer as a Word document. I prefer to review it as a Word document, so that's why you see it in this format. So just wanted to go over a few things with you on this document. First of all, you'll see objectives as well as all the group protocol models and populations that we could use to assign you your group and population and model. You really only need to worry about yours from this list. Um, I do also want to point out from this section, just to be sure not to create an exercise or yoga group, although there is a place for that in OT groups. We want you to be creative in this group, this particular group. So we want you to avoid exercise and yoga here. You also want to avoid a group where the clients only talk. So the next section you'll find is the assignment steps. First thing you're going to do is you're going to research your population and model that you were assigned. Then you're going to ultimately create a group protocol for only one 30-minute group session, and you're going to include the information found in the format outline that begins here. Keep in mind that this is a protocol that you would submit like to a program director or a rehab director to pitch your idea for a new group session. So this is really good practice. This is also the protocol that you will be able to perform or do with your classmates in lab as a competency. So be sure it's something that you can actually do. Now, again, you can complete this using headers and subheaders in paragraph form. However, I would highly recommend that you utilize the outline format, just using complete sentences to answer the questions to make sure that you don't forget anything. And that also makes it more clear when I'm grading it. So I'm not going to go over each bullet here. Most of it I feel like is self-explanatory. However, there are a few things I want to just review to make sure everybody understands. First thing is with the title of the group. Let's make that creative and interesting. Instead of something like Welcome to the PTSD group, you want it to be something that's going to draw the attention of the people that are going to be joining the group. Then with your background, oftentimes people ask me, well, how am I supposed to know the age range or the genders or any of this information? When you're doing your research, if you discover that your population is typically males from ages 18 to 55, then you would put that and you would cite that you found that information in the research. However, if there is nothing in your research specific to the demographics of this population, then you would just state that the age range can range from 18 to, let's say, 70 if it's adults, or from 13 to 19 if it's a teenage population. Then you're just going to research and talk a little bit about the setting that you're in. And then the major point of your research for the population is going to go in this third bullet here about the needs assessment of the group. Then you're going to talk about your group purpose and goals. It tells you exactly here what to do. Make sure you address each of the 3 bullets. Same thing with your group structure. Make sure you address each of these bullets. With your promotion and advertising, remember that there is a resource in the assignment instructions to potentially help you with that. But be specific. How are you going to tell people about your group? How will you get people, group members in your group that'll participate? Then with your safety considerations, oftentimes students don't provide very much information with their safety considerations. I want you to really think through this and think about what you might need to do. Think about the information that you learned in your safety section of the course that you should consider with the population that you've been assigned. Then the next section is the description of your session. You're going to talk to me about what your icebreaker is, your explanation of the group to the, your explanation of the activity to the group, You're going to actually tell me what the activity they're going to be doing, and then you're going to give me what questions you will ask each member for each section in the Coles 7 steps that's listed below. You have a reading resource in your module about Coles 7 steps, but I also included a YouTube video link here as well to provide some additional information. Then there's the collaboration with the OTR. Just make sure you answer both of those questions. Then your group evaluation, that's going to be 3 different bullet sections about how you will evaluate the effectiveness of the things that you used in the session, the effectiveness of the impact or the measure of change in the individuals from the beginning of group to the end, and then the outcomes, which is the change in the group over time. Then you're also going to submit when I say separate from the protocol, just make a space and then do a header stating why we chose the activity, and write a few brief paragraphs. And in that few brief paragraphs, I want you to tell me how and why your team chose their activity, and how and why it meets the group goals and fits with the population entry and or treatment model that you were provided. Make sure that when you do that, you include a description of that frame of reference theory or model that you use to guide the protocol. And in this section, in that few paragraphs, you're going to need to include a minimum of 3 research articles supporting your decision. And then obviously, if you're using those articles, you need to include information from those articles as well as in-text citations and APA references for that section. Then there's a table listed here or shown here where you will give me the title of your 3 research articles that you use in this section, as well as tell me if you believe that each of those articles is qualitative, quantitative, or both. Now remember, you have a resource also in the assignment instructions to help you to distinguish if it is qualitative, quantitative, or both. Then you're going to follow that with a reference list, and then that will complete the portion of the assignment that you turn in one as a group. The next 2 things that you're going to see here are things that you'll turn in individually. There are separate sections for you to turn these in so that they can be turned in and graded individually. The first one is the group design protocol or reflection application of teaching. We'll call it the reflection, but you're looking at also application of teaching in this section. So you're going to think about your experience with creating this group protocol. And you're going to think about the teaching that is involved in creating and running an OT group. Then you're going to provide a 3 to 5 sentence paragraph regarding how you can use what you've learned about teaching to A, improve your learning experience as a student, and B, provide teaching for future OTA students, either as a fieldwork educator or a future OTA instructor. So again, each person in the group should provide a separate reflection, and this section is worth 5 points towards the total grade. Then your group process evaluation form is exactly what it sounds like. I touched base on this in the first video, but you're going to be providing an evaluation on how the process went, how each of your group mates contributed. Just so really it gives me an idea of how the process went for you in doing the group with your group mates. Again, this section is also worth 5 points. So as you're completing this, if you have any questions, if you're listening to this video and a question pops up, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I'm here to help.